Hey guys, so I'm back with another wedding planning video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about vendors. The reason vendors are so important is because they can literally make or break your wedding. Um, what a lot of people will do is they will hire maybe a family friend or their cousin or somebody that they know as their vendor to try to save money, and then it ends up becoming more of a headache in the long run. Let me backtrack for a second. For those of you that don't know what vendors are, if you're very, very new to the wedding planning process, or if you've never planned a wedding before and you just don't know what you're doing, vendors are basically anybody that's supplying something for your wedding. So what that means is your florist, your photographer, your videographer, your DJ, um, if you are renting anything, if like all of those things are considered vendors. Um, so as I said, in a lot of situations, it's like a catch-22, I think they call it. In some situations, it can work, but in essence, it's a very difficult decision. I have seen people that use family, friends, or relatives for their vendors, and they're still waiting for the product that they were promised. A lot of times, when you're using a family friend, even if you are paying them something, you're not really paying them what their regular rate would be if it's something that they actually do professionally, so they don't treat it as they would a lot of their other clients. Um, Also, another thing that I've noticed is that it's definitely up to each couple individually what's important to them. So, for example, my fiance and I have decided that photography is very, very important to us because obviously this is really the first this is the first step into our new life, basically. And even for our house and things like that, that we're planning to get after the wedding, we definitely want to have pictures that we can hang, or we definitely want to have a photo album um, that we can, look back and kind of reminisce on afterwards. So in our budget, when we were allocating money towards things, we already decided, okay, photography is very important to both of us. So we would put a decent amount of money towards photography. So of course, if that's something that's very important to us, we're going to spend a good amount of money on it. And we're going, even if we choose somebody that we know just so that we can be more comfortable with, we're not going to choose somebody that we don't think is going to give us professional quality work. Um, I guess likewise, or on the other end, videography is important to us, but it's definitely, if you've watched some of my other videos, you heard me talking about like an A list and a B list of what's important to us. So the A list is like what's more important, the B list is what's less important. And when we took our vendors into consideration, photography definitely made the A list, whereas videography was definitely on the B list. So even though we do still plan to have a videographer, um, it's definitely not something that we want to allocate a lot of money towards because of the fact that it's just not that important to us. So that would be something that we either just hire a family friend to do, or we just don't do it all together, which we probably won't do, but it's always an option. Or what a lot of people will do now is they will put up an ad on like Craigslist or on a website like that, and they'll ask for amateurs, like people that are in school for photography, or in school for like video design, things like that, and they'll offer them, okay, I'll pay you $400 to just come in and do videography for my wedding. For anybody that's actually planning a wedding and that has started looking into vendors, you know that it costs much more than $400 to get a professional videographer. So that's definitely, a great deal. And most of the time, because the person is in school for it, you'll still get professional quality work. Um, so my suggestion would just be make an A list and a B list. See what's important to you and see what you thought was important, but then when you really think about it, you're like, it's really not that important. And that's definitely going to go a very long way in what you decide to spend money on, what you decide to maybe just ask for a favor on, what you decide to leave altogether. A lot of things you can DIY now too. For example, flowers. A lot of people will just go to their local florist and get flowers that are in season, so that they can be a little bit less expensive, and then they'll create the bouquets themselves. Or they, for the centerpiece, a lot of people now also are going with silk flowers, so that guests can also take them home as like a, so it can double as a favor. What else? I don't remember the name of it, but there's actually quite a few apps now that you basically have your guests download so that they can take pictures and they can take videos. And then what the app does, I believe for like a very low fee, it compiles everything for you. They have somebody edit it and then they send it to you as like your wedding video. So a lot of people will also do that, to save time and to save money. So those are all just things, the caterer, cake, things like that. If it's not important to you, then don't put a lot of money towards it. In one of my other videos, I believe the one about receptions, I was talking about the food and things like that. And if you don't really care for food, or if you want to just have a very simple style reception, then it's your wedding. You can do whatever you want. So if you want to just have an extended cocktail party and just maybe have waiters and waitresses walking around with hors d'oeuvres, to me that's very nice. At the same time, if you want to have a sit down dinner, of course you have to tailor your wedding to exactly what you want out of it. And at the end of the day, if you only have $1,000 to spend on your wedding, why spend $5,000 and put yourself in debt? So a lot of the, as I said, the vendors you can DIY, or you can have your family and friends help you if you know they're going to be reliable, and if it's not something that you really care about. Definitely use all of the resources you have. So yeah, if you have any questions on DIY projects, or maybe if you have questions on DIY projects that I'm going to do for my wedding, feel free to comment below. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions or inquiries, feel free to send me an email. My email's in the description box. And as always, happy planning!